Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmanuel Cyprian. In this video, I'll be sharing with you how to manage third-party or vendor risk. We usually call it vendor risk management. I will not be going into details of how you conduct vendor risk management, but I'll be giving you some tips that will be helpful for you when you are engaged or you want to engage in assessing the risk of third party or vendors. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this vendor risk management, please subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Like this video and then turn on your notification button. Okay. Now, what is vendor risk management? Every organization deals with one or two vendors that provides them services. Either they provide them IT services, or they provide them suppliers, or they provide them maintenance services, or they provide them, one service or the other. So every organization have third party that they deal with. So when you're dealing with third party, you want to make sure that the risk associated with those third parties are adequately assessed and managed. And that is why third party or vendor risk management is important. Now, if you don't manage your vendor appropriately, the risk associated with your vendors or your third party adequately, it may mean that any cybersecurity breach on your vendor's website or environment might inadvertently affect your own organization. That is why it is good, it's a good industry practice for you to manage, your third party, risk adequately. So in managing, third party, in conducting vendor risk assessment, what are the questions you need to ask? Question number one is, who are your critical vendors? Who are the critical vendors? Is it the supply chain? Is it the maintenance, vendors? Is it the ones that provide IT services? So the organization needs to list them out, needs to have, where they are properly documented. You need to know, the organization needs to know who their critical vendors are. That is number one question. Number two question is, what sort of data does these vendors have access to? In every organization, there is the data classification. There is data classification. So they classify data in terms of critical, PII, strictly confidential, official use only, or public data. So these are all forms of data classification. Now, these vendors we're talking about, what sort of data do they have access to? Is it our strictly confidential data? And then, how do they have access? Do they have any integration into our own network? Or they store this data in their own server? So you want to be able to analyze and ask that question. That is, what sort of data does this vendor have access to? Number three question is, what kind of risk do you want to manage? There are different kinds of risk. There is the regulatory risk. There is the cybersecurity risk. There is the information technology risk. There is a privacy risk. There is a compliance risk. So what kind of risk does the organization want to manage? And then number four question is, how do you manage this risk? It means that what are the security measures or the security controls that is expected of this third party or vendor in order to give you an assurance that these risks are adequately managed? What kind of controls? Access control, configuration management control, incident response, database management, encryption of data in transit and at rest, awareness and training, audit and accountability. So SOC 1 Type 2 reports. So what are the different or the various kind of minimum basic security controls that this third party must have in order to help you or give you the assurance that the risk is, adequately managed? And then lastly, what are the tools that you'll be using to manage this third party risk? There are different tools out there. In some organizations, they might not even have tools. They might have just Microsoft Word document and Excel. But hey, there is the need to automate some of these tasks. And there are a lot of GRC tools out there, such as Archer, CSAM, Exata. These are some of cybersecurity tools that are good enough to manage third-party risk assessments. I believe these questions will help you understand to some extent what vendor or third-party risk management is all about. So if this video is helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not done so, like this video, and then turn on your notification button. Thank you.